Hi y'all, it's Fortune Frankly and welcome to Fortune Frankly Fridays, where we do DIY home decor and sometimes organization videos. Today we're going to be embroidering. I've never done embroidery before. This is the first time I'm doing it live on camera. Well, not live, but on camera. I wanted to use a couple of different materials here too, just to see how things would turn out and to give myself a challenge. So with that, let's get into the video. For this first project, we're going to be embroidering something super simple on a shirt collar. This is an easy thing you can do to give your clothes a little more pizzazz, a little more customization, but still keep it very minimal. And it's great for beginning embroiderers because it's super easy. For this project, you'll need a shirt, embroidery thread and a needle, and a ruler and a pencil. This is super simple. We're going to start out by marking some X's on the tip of the collar. If you make a mistake, you can always erase it. Taking a short piece of embroidery thread, I'm going to split it down the middle so that it's thinner once we double it up. And start with my stitch. I'm just going to go up through the back, across to make an X, and back down through the fabric. Come back up at the diagonal where I want my other line of the X to be, and go back across. I'm going to do this to both sides of the collar. And here's how it looks. For this second project, we're going to step everything up quite a couple of notches and try embroidering on canvas. Now canvas is actually very forgiving, so I think it's really good for beginners too. I'm a beginner myself and I found this pretty easy, although very tedious. We're just going to be making a geode kind of picture with embroidery thread. For this project, you'll need a small stretched canvas. This one is 5 by 7, embroidery thread and a needle, and some paint. Starting off with my canvas, I'm going to draw the design that I want. Now I'm going to be making a geode and embroidering the colors on there. And I looked at some reference pictures of some geodes, kind of picked the shapes that I liked, and put it all together. And I also made sure that the geodes that I drew flowed together so that they weren't just like 3 separate geodes, but kind of molded into one. Taking my thread, I'm going to split that down the middle. This is a 6-strand thread, and we're just going to do 3 and 3. So the one stitch you'll need to know for this project is the satin stitch, and it's very simple. You're going to go up from underneath the canvas, cross over to the other side, and go down. Then right next to the hole that you just made, you're going to go back up through the canvas and back to the other side. And in the back, it should look like this. And our goal here is to use as little thread as possible. That's why we're not kind of crossing over it in the back as we would in the front. And I'm going to do this for all of the colors. You want to keep in mind how geodes generally look. They tend to go from a light color on the inside to a darker color kind of midway. And then they repeat some of those colors going from light to dark again. For the first geode, I wanted to stay in the blush burgundy kind of theme, and I think that the colors look really nice together. So after I finished that geode, I realized I probably should have painted the border first. So I'm going to do that. And I'm just painting the border around in white so it doesn't look as canvasy and more like a frame. And don't forget to paint the sides of the canvas too. Next, I'm going to go in with some orangey tones on that other geode kind of across the way and do the whole process over again. Now I feel responsible for letting you know that this project took so much time. This is all hand embroidered, and in total it took me about 24 hours to do over the course of 3 days. But it looks so nice in the end. Hashtag worth it. I'm going to repeat the process on the last geode with some minty green colors. And this is how it turned out.
For this third and final project, we're going to be using a different type of embroidering technique and embroidery tool. It's called a punch needle, and you use that to embroider through your fabric. This is my first time doing it. I know what I would do to improve later on, but I thought this was a good first punch needle embroidery. For this project, you'll need
an embroidery hoop, some fabric, some yarn or jute cord, a punch needle or a heavy-duty embroidery needle, and some spray adhesive. Starting with my embroidery hoop, I'm going to put the fabric in. Now I'm assuming it's something similar to monk cloth, which I see a lot of punch needle embroidery tutorials using. I don't know what it is. I'll leave it linked in the description bar below. I'm going to thread my jute cord through the punch needle. I'm going to put the wire through the punch needle, put the jute cord through the wire, pull the wire back out, and thread it like I would any other needle. And we're ready to start. Now this works by punching a hole through your fabric and making loops at the back. There are a lot of tutorials on how to do this. This is really my first time making a project with this kind of materials, but I'm going to show you how I got through this. So I'm going to punch through my first hole and drag the end of my jute cord out through the back. Now I'm going to continue punching holes, and every time I'm going to hold on to that loop in the back so that it doesn't come out, and continue to go down in a straight line for my design. I'm going to do 2 more lines on either side just to make that a bit thicker. I'm going to pull that end of the jute cord out through the back again and make a knot. Now this punch needle is adjustable. I have it on the D setting right now, which makes the smallest loops in the back. And that's better for thinner kind of threads or materials that you're using. Now on either side of this line, I'm going to punch through some yarn in a semicircle kind of shape. I did it on one side already just so I can kind of see how this is going to go. Because this yarn is much thicker than the jute cord, I had to kind of adjust how I was holding things, making sure it didn't come out, and making sure not to put too much tension on the yarn. This is how it looks in the front, and you'll notice I left a gap there because I actually like the way it looks on the back more. I like the way those loops look, and it gives it a lot of texture. So I'm going to spray what is now the back of the piece, just so things don't unravel too much and come out. I didn't like how the colors were looking exactly, so I spray painted the bottom half white, and here's how it came out.
Alright, that went fairly well. This was my first time, again, like I'll keep saying throughout this video, and I would give myself maybe a B+. That geode though might push me up. That was my favorite. If you're feeling lucky, you can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. And if you're not feeling lucky, I'm so sorry, but I hope to see you again in the near future. I just want to make sure that everyone is staying safe. As things start to open up and kind of close back down, proceed with caution. Also remember that Black Lives Matter now and always. I'll leave a link to my syllabus down below that I've talked about in other videos. And as always, thanks for watching.